hurt when I clap. Oh, I talked over your clap. Can you clap again? I talked right as you
Dang
did.
it.
Nice. Your clap's getting better. Always good when the clap gets better. You ready to get started there, big perm?
B- Yeah, little hoss.
Okay. All right, getting started. So, oh, wait a minute. How should I phrase this? Let me think. Hold on. Okay. Getting started.
Wow, this is starting off real
I
well
know.
today.
Well, if you stop interrupting me, I can't think. Can't think,
All right,
bruh.
sorry. Sorry,
All
sir.
right.
Sorry.
Okay. If you're going to get in an argument with Thanksgiving, no, wait. If you're going to get in an argument at Thanksgiving with your family, is it going to be about politics, religion, family drama, or something else? Like, what are you going to argue with your family about at Thanksgiving?
Oof. I'm gonna break it down into eras, into times. A decade ago, it would have been politics.
Hmm.
And now, like say on Thursday for Thanksgiving, it would be family drama again.
Oh, so you go through cycles. You go through
Yeah, for
cycles.
say, I mean, once again, we don't have to talk about the political landscape here in America. We all know it. Um, my family, for whatever reason, I'll give them credit. It's not really brought up, even if people believe one way or the other. Yeah, it's usually sports, and then someone will bring up something about Uncle Johnny and how he wronged them 30 years ago, and then you're just down that path.
Mm.
You are just, there's no coming back once Uncle Johnny's brought up.
Oh, yeah. See, we don't argue about a lot of family drama. Our family drama is much more under the table, right? It's more dirty looks kind of family drama. It doesn't get talked about. And
That's
we,
fair.
ours is probably going to be like, why aren't you going to church? We would argue about
Oh,
religion because within blood relation, there's a strong sense of you don't talk about politics. Like it doesn't even get it's not going to get brought up by anybody of a blood relation. Now somebody outside of blood relation is going to get bring it up and it's going to go brief for a second, but that's going to get shut down real quick.
yeah. I mean, listen, obviously, politics, especially nowadays, are very left or right. There's no middle ground, and that's just not fun. I feel like, if you can find me a family that actually, like, that ruins their holidays still, I feel like they just need to hash it out and just move on. Like, just don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. It's not worth it.
How okay, how many times out of 10 though when you have an opportunity to hang out with your family, are you going to avoid hanging out with your family?
Oh man. Nowadays zero. But I'll be honest with you. If this was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, probably 60% of the time, but only because I made every attempt to try to hang out with them in the years prior, and it just didn't come to
Mm,
fruition. So
you were
it's
scorned.
not like I didn't want to. I just gave up trying, and we've hashed that out. We've all come to kind of a happy medium, and we're moving on. We're moving on.
I'm a big fan of something my grandfather said, which was try again, try one more time and then quit. There's no reason to be a damn fool about it.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question for you. Would you say families are the most are the toughest thing you'll ever have to deal with in adulthood? Other than other than money, finances, blah blah blah, is family and relationships maybe the most complex thing you have to juggle as you get older?
Oh yeah. Especially as you get into our age where you're kind of in this unique situation in which you have children that you have to care for and parents that you're kind of having to care for. Like you're essentially taking care of two groups of people at the same time while trying to take care of yourself. I never understood that statement before where people would say like life begins at 35, life begins at 40. Now I completely understand it. Like
Yeah,
life really begins when your kids are getting older and so are your parents. And you're suddenly you got to get through all of that. That's tough.
you're kind of thrown right into the middle of it, and some people have to make the decision. I think. I mean, we haven't had to yet, but do you? Where do you spend your time on? I mean, it's tough. It's anyways. So let me ask you another question. Follow up Thanksgiving question. Um, Say you're not hosting, but you show up late to a family Thanksgiving dinner. Who are the two relatives or current family members, wife, dad, whatever, that you want to sit in between at the table?
That I want to sit in between at the table? No, I want to sit next to my wife and kids. Like, I don't know. We didn't do that. We kind of had like an island thing or whatever where everybody walked past and then just kind of stood around that. So there wasn't like a
Okay.
sit down kind of thing. I generally though, if there was a big like you know how the family splits up and you've got like the big family area where a good amount of people are and then like the secondary and third areas where some other people are. I was always in the secondary and third areas. I was never a main table family member. I didn't want to deal with all that.
I was always in the living room watching football with the usually the uncles and my dad, and the ladies were in the other room, gossiping or doing whatever they were doing.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Other question. What do you feel is the perfect time to eat Thanksgiving dinner?
Man, see, that's a great question. And I only say that's a great question not because you asked it, but because I'm trying something different this year because I'm
Ooh.
working on Thanksgiving. I'm working Thanksgiving evening. So I'm going to work a night shift, 3 to 11-ish. So we're going to do like a Thanksgiving lunch at 1 p.m. And I actually think I'm going to enjoy that more because I'll be able to work off, the food, the tiredness as the day progresses, hopefully, or I'm just going to be a lazy lump of coal
Oh,
at work that night. But um, gonna try it.
I couldn't imagine stuffing myself and then going into work. That would be terrible. I would eat
I
after. I
mean,
would wait it out and come home at like midnight and eat.
to be fair, I love my wife, but I didn't want to do this. This was my wife pushing for this. So we'll see how it works. I mean, it should be fine. But getting back to your question, I I think it makes more sense to eat around 1. 3:30, 4 o'clock would probably be the sweet time because the first football game is getting over, and then the second one starts a half an hour later, so you can eat and then just go plop on the couch. Usually, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll have to report back.
Okay, okay. I think that 6 o'clock is the best time to eat Thanksgiving dinner. I think it should be actually scheduled at about the normal dinner time. But for me, the best part of Thanksgiving dinner is actually like the leftover
Eh,
turkey sandwich you eat a couple hours later that you can pile everything on. That's the best part of Thanksgiving is the leftover sandwich after the main dinner.
See, I don't like the traditional American cuisine for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't like turkey. I don't like ham. So, and you're gonna call me a snob on this. I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to. So I'm actually smoking a brisket on Thanksgiving. So
Oh, I know you're smoking meat. I know you smoke meat all the time. I know that's your number
our
one hobby is smoking meat. The
our
more
first top
meat you
five
can
ever.
smoking meat. We are also doing something slightly different. We are each getting something that we just want. So we're not having a turkey. I'm getting sushi. My son is getting Taco Bell. The other son is getting mac and cheese, and my wife is getting a steak.
Sorry. Okay. I feel like the roles would have been reversed there a little bit. Like, you
Uh,
know, um, hold
you
on,
ha-
hold on. Like
you
you
have
would
to
have gotten. Okay, go ahead. Explain. I'm
you
sorry.
have to factor in the lack of a sense of smell. So because of the lack of a sense of smell, I can't really taste things that much. So to me, a steak is nothing more than a waste of money.
But sushi, I mean, part of it is the smell and the textures. Like in the. Well, I guess the taste. I mean, what? I don't think anyone that listens to this podcast would think you or I were sushi eaters because I feel like to be a sushi eater, you have to be an eloquent person, an intellectual
You
person.
got to be
I feel.
smarter than we appear to be. Yeah, we
Yeah,
seem more like a hot dog hamburger kind of guys.
man, I tell you what, I had a Costco hot dog the other day.
Mm,
Those might be top five hot dogs I've ever had in my entire life.
I seem more like a cheeseburger guy. I feel like you actually seem like a chili dog man. Like you look like the kind of guy who is gonna have a chili dog.
This doesn't surprise you. I've been told that a time or two.
You look exactly like the kind of person who wants a chili dog.
I have been told before that I look like somebody that would do well in eating competitions, and I don't know if that's a compliment
It's
or
not.
somebody telling me that I probably should not enter those ever.
I think it says that you're already kind of big. You seem like a guy who enjoys food, and you seem like a guy who doesn't have a lot of self control.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's pretty much me.
and it
That's,
press stop. That's over.
that's pretty much
Podcast over.
summed me up perfectly.
We
Okay,
have
let's go ahead.
we have figured out who we truly are, or I have right there. That's perfect. That's the best description of me that anyone's ever said. So thank you.
I look like a big guy who likes to eat and doesn't have self control.
YOLO,
Yeah.
man, right? YOLO, the best life advice I've ever gotten was just a four-letter acronym, YOLO.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to shout outs.
All right. Yeah, thank God. Let's see. Mickey Madrigal, Thomas Pulowski, Eric Kitamp, Johnny Indio, Amber Richard Rabaka, John Shaban, Nathan Nugget. That can't be real.
No, probably not.
But hey, you never know. Felicia Abry, John Stamos, but he does not look like the actual John
Not
Stamos.
the actual
So.
John Stamos. Okay,
No,
sad.
but when I saw his name on our social media recently, I had to do it just because it's
Naturally.
John Stamos.
Naturally.
David Pitt, Dave White, and we'll end here on Weimar David the Fourth. So
Weimar.
there you go, Weimar. I'm sure I'm
What
screwing that up.
what color of the rainbow does Weimar look like? That's not supposed to be any kind of aspersions towards anything. I just don't know what most likely color someone named Weimar is. Is that a white guy?
It appears that way. Yes.
Oh, okay. That would be my guess. Is it's probably a white guy, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I don't feel like that's anything, but whatever. Okay, probably should just move on quickly.
Yeah, probably should just that's not like that's gonna live out there forever.
Nope.
All right, let's see. Man, there's so much just crap to talk about. I just don't even I don't even know. I wrote this down, not sure why. Apparently, Cher announced, but I forgot who it was, that she's only been broken up with once in her entire life, and I feel like that's a lie. Not that I truly care. However, I don't. I guess I've never thought that Cher was like this super attractive, like non-breakable up with person, but apparently she thinks so.
Hmm. Have you more what have you which role have you usually played? Have you been the person getting broken up with or the person breaking up?
Uh, no one believes this, and you shouldn't. But I'm usually the one that's ending things.
Really? I've never ended a relationship. I've always been broken up with.
Oh, yeah, I'm usually the one that ended things. Though, to be fair, I only had 3 girlfriends in my adult life, so
Let me
I was
tell you.
single for quite a while.
Oh, I don't think do guys really that have that many girlfriends. I don't think that most guys really have that many girlfriends. Significant
Um,
girlfriends. I'm not like something that lasts 6 months or more. I don't think most guys usually do.
yeah, you're right. I definitely think that's the other sex problem.
Yeah, I think women a lot more relationships than men do. I only had that you wouldn't count as just like casual encounters or let's see if this is going to evolve into something else. I only had 2 girlfriends and then my wife.
Yeah, see, I had 3, and then my wife. So, and of course, all those dates that you and your then girlfriend ruined for me. Thank you very much for all
No
those.
problem. That's
Appreciate
what we
you.
were here for. That's how I
My
knew that she
God.
was the one. Was when we were able to work together to ruin your dating life.
Oh
I
my God.
appreciate her for that. To be honest with you, I don't really know any guys who've had a lot of girlfriends.
For those of you that are unaware of that story, I will 30 seconds. I was out I believe it was a first date with a lady, and Nick and his girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife, just thought it'd be funny to just keep calling me over and over and over again. And she finally got fed up and said if she wasn't important enough, and my phone was, and got up and left. So thank you for
Mm.
that.
You
Appreciate it.
have self
Um,
control. You have the ability to turn your phone off to not pay attention to it. Don't blame other people for your actions.
Here's the thing. I knew if I answered it and said is something wrong, you were gonna either call me an idiot or make up some joke, and then just keep doing it. So I was done. There was no recovering for me. It was bad.
No, what happened there, honestly, is that you gave up before you even started to try. You could have responded with like, "Hey man, look, I really think I like this girl. Can you leave me alone?" Or you could have turned your phone off. So don't blame me for your decisions.
I'm gonna blame you. It was Val Kilmer, by the way. He was the one who apparently broke her heart. The only person that ever dumped Cher was Val Kilmer.
That's an odd pairing. That doesn't seem like something that like Cher and Val Kilmer dated. Okay, all right.
I mean, really? I think. I mean, Val Kilmer. I mean, the generation of today only knows him as the guy that talks like this and has the, the all the cancer. But man, back in the '80s and '90s, he was a stud. He was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not surprised that Val Kilmer was able to get Cher. I'm surprised that Cher was able to get Val Kilmer.
Oh, that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
would say that he was kind of the more attractive person relative to sex in that relationship.
Hmm. I guess I never even really thought of it from her side. I mean, she's been, she's a lot older than everyone thinks. She's almost 80. Like she's been around
Yeah,
for a
Val
minute.
Kilmer's
Like
not that old. Like,
yeah.
so she bagged him in his prime. That's impressive. She must be doing something right. She's doing something right. So,
That's so funny. Let's see. Have you ever been so stressed out that you've lost hair, teeth, weight?
no, I handle stress very well.
Well, apparently the director of Squid Game, pretty popular
Yeah.
show on
Oh,
Netflix,
yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
uh, says that he lost, for some reason, it's 8 or 9. I don't know how you don't know the correct number, but 8 or 9 teeth due to stress while shooting the first season of Squid Game. The second season comes out in December, I believe. But losing teeth because you're stressed out over a show,
How did he
that's
lose?
dedication.
How did they just fall out, or did he just grind them away? He must have just ground them away or something like that. Because that's
It's
pretty
something.
crazy to be that level of stress that your teeth fall out.
Just I mean that's bad.
That's wow. Yeah, stress is powerful, man. I think that people underestimate the effects that it can have on you.
It's I mean listen, if
Take
everyone
that
could be
shit
as chill
seriously.
as you, it would be all right.
Oh, I just internalize it and take it out in rage.
That's why we've never seen your wife because she
That's
just
right. She doesn't
hides.
exist. She doesn't.
She just. Let's see. There was a couple of these videos that popped up virally, and they kind of annoy me, but I wanted to get your take on them. How do you feel about stewardess and airline ushers, doing fun things on an airplane like singing or just saying fun things over the intercom? Like, are you annoyed by it if you're on a plane? Have you ever run into an instance like that where they've come over and have sang or done something?
If I ever had like a slogan that I would live my life by, it's let's get this over with. I don't want to be at a work meeting and have any sort of team building, any sort of introductions, any sort of hi, how are you? I don't want to get on a plane and have people cheering or chanting. I just want people to do the thing that they're supposed to do. Like, let's just get this going. I'm great that's fantastic. You're trying to cheer everybody up and sing, but I'd much rather have you like getting the plane off the ground. Let's do that.
Well, speaking of planes, I had to throw this one in there. Detroit, of all places in the entire world, the city of Detroit, Michigan, in your United States of America, has been named one of the top travel destinations
No, it
In,
hasn't.
in 2025 by the magazine, I presume, Travel and Leisure, which I think is pretty renowned.
What is it? What are they? What like? Why is it there? Is it the top travel destinations if you don't want to come back?
I mean, they gave some reasons.
What are the reasons? To see the trash in the Detroit River? To watch one of the sports teams inevitably lose and crush? I would go to Detroit to watch that because this is the only reason that I would go to Detroit besides just to see you. I would go to Detroit so that I can see and witness the collective enthusiasm of the entire metro area with the Detroit Lions be crushed when they inevitably remember that they are the Detroit Lions and lose. And I will be there to soak in the pain and anguish and laugh. There's nothing I like more in sports than watching the Cowboys lose. It's the best time in the world to me.
Two things. One, I don't disagree with you. Watching the Cowboys lose is amazing and worth every penny of it. Second thing is the Detroit Lions, I believe, are the Super Bowl favorites
Oh,
heading
okay, that
into
means
next week.
something. Yeah, when wins the title?
Um,
Do they have the title? Then I wouldn't talk about it because they're going to be what Detroit does.
no, your Kansas
Probably.
City Chiefs do.
Oh, I don't like the Chiefs at all. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, please.
Uh, anyway, some of the reasons given: places that fill of the moment, cultural immersion, and places that offer blissful luxury. Not entirely sure what
What is
that means.
that for 5.99?
Uh,
Listen, okay. For anybody listening to this, I just want it to be known that I used to be one of the people that wrote those type of articles, and I want people to know that it's entirely bullshit. Like it's just made up. It's just
no,
totally
it is
all those
no.
top places for this, top places for that. This state ranks this. It's just totally made up. The person who's putting that together has no idea what they're talking about. There is no way that you could look at it and be like, you know what's a great place to go this summer? Detroit. Because you don't want to go to like the mountains and have a good time or the beach and have a good time. You want to go to Detroit, which has none of those.
I
It's
mean,
like
come on
my fa-
over. It's
my
fine.
father
This
my dad brings up constantly the fact that Wichita has been named one of the best places to live. If it was one of the best places to live, people would live there, but they don't. Like those things are just entirely made up. You got nothing because you know
I
I'm
got
right.
nothing. I got nothing. I mean, listen, you were in that industry, so I'm not, but don't ruin it. Detroit is a great place. Come check it out. Tons to do. Let's see. I'm gonna add on a couple of health things
Okay. Okay.
that seem like they should have been common sense, but now apparently studies back them. Let's see. Alcohol use increased during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's not surprising. Don't know why it took them 4 years to come out with that study.
Well, you got to
Uh,
study it to make sure that the common sense is actually makes sense. There's all kinds of things that people think that aren't true, right?
I can come to my house, all right? Listen to an episode of the podcast in August of 2020. You and I were hammered the whole month.
Oh yeah, that's the way
Um,
to do it.
let's see. Vaping apparently affects vascular health and oxygen levels. Imagine that.
Smoking is bad for your lungs.
And curious to see how Dr. Oz does as he leads Medicare and Medicaid. So, anyways, all right, let's move on.
Okay. You ready? You ready for our top five?
Sure. I don't
I
know
love this
where
top five.
where
I
you
love it.
thought of this in your brain, but yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so our top five is top five songs where they spell out lyrics. What's your number five?
I legit I had to think on this one, and usually it kind of comes naturally, like I just think of things.
Mm,
This one I had to like look up some songs. I had to try to Google some lists.
read. I know it's hard.
I'm coming from a guy that just reads graphic novels for a living. I
First
don't
of
want to
all,
hear it.
Watchmen is one of the greatest books of all time.
Or manga, whatever you're into.
It's
It's fine
manga. I
if
can't
you're into
read it
manga.
because it's written differently. I can't read that. I would if I could, but it's like written not the way that we. It's like right to left instead of left to right, and I can't do it.
I don't even know what that means. Why would they
So
write it the opposite way? That makes
because
no
it's from
sense.
Japan, and that's how they do things.
Oh, okay, so now you're gonna say that I don't understand how the Japanese write books.
Yeah, you don't. I don't, and I've looked at it many times. I still don't know what's going on. It's too hard for me.
All right, my number nine, "Nice and Slow" by Usher.
Okay, spell it out.
He goes USHER, and then he goes into nice and slow about it. So it's not really the title that's in there, but it's the fact that he goes USHER, and then he goes into the song. Like I've just never forgotten it. So
Something about it. There is something about spelling out a lyric that somehow makes a boring lyric somehow like amazing. Like, oh wow,
oh my
because it
god,
gets
my
so.
list. It's so bad. If you're
You
gonna
didn't
make
think.
me spell out like all these, they're so terrible.
Oh, good, good.
Oh, okay.
My number five is Hot to Go. HOTTOGO. Chapel Rowan. I don't know what
Uh,
Hot to Go means, but that's really like that's my jam. I love that song.
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it one of the songs of the summer? Like it got
Oh,
she
it was
got
the yeah, that was the song of the summer. I think that could go up the list. That's really good. HOTTOGO. That's a
a
great
yeah
one.
yeah. I mean I think most people that are up on it know it, but yeah, I don't know if it's a good song. Um,
Oh,
I mean I'm not saying Usher's was a good song either. I don't know if any of these are good songs. Let me just
okay.
say that.
Some of them are. I don't think he did enough
Like my
research on
number four, which is Bang Bang by Jessie J, Ariana Grande, and Nicki Minaj, where they're like BANG, bang bang, and it's anyways, it's just I don't want to do this. I don't
it.
want
Your
to do this.
list is terrible right now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
My number
It's a,
four is Holler Back Girl, where she spells out bananas.
okay.
But I don't think that anybody actually likes that song. They just played it so much it got stuck in your head. But I don't think anybody actually likes it.
BANAS.
BANAN. Like it was such a terrible. That was one of those examples to me of how like the media machine can get cranked up. Nobody when they first heard that song, I don't think, was like, "Yeah, it's a good song." They just played it over and over and over again until finally you're like, "Okay, we'll listen to it."
Yeah, leave me alone. I like it. Yeah, it's.
Industry plant, I think is the term that they use. Industry plant.
I mean, it is. It's a catchy song. It's a pop song. It's fine.
It's all right.
I've I fear that our number one is going to be the same.
Oh, it has to be. The number one is completely dominant. It's not even a question what the
God,
number one is.
my list is so bad. I feel like there has to be so many more, but I couldn't think of any.
Yeah, you didn't do a good job, doesn't sound like. Can you actually move so you're in the frame so people can see you and witness your embarrassment? Thank you.
I'm not proud. I'm not proud of this one. I don't remember a top five where
That's
I've
what you
like.
isn't that what your parents said?
That's what everyone said. All right, my. All right.
Man, brutal.
You good now?
I'm still thinking about it a little bit.
All right. So my number seven is Saint Louis by Nelly, or my number three, not seven. Oh my god. My
Spell
number
it out.
three, Saint Louis by. So in the song, he spells out Missouri because that's where he's from. So he's like Missouri, blah blah blah, Saint Louis, Saint Louis. Anyways, I hate this already. I hate this.
My number three is Saturday. 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 Bay City Rollers. You're
Okay.
not doing like you're thinking of specific instances within a song while I'm thinking of the chorus. I think it needs to be somewhere like in the chorus where they spell it out a couple of times.
Yeah, that's and where they actually like spell it out, which is
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, I think I may have recovered with my last two, but we'll see.
Okay.
So my number two is the Jackson Five, ABC. ABC, too busy as 1, 2, 3. ABC, baby, you and me, girl.
I thought about this a lot. I don't know if that really counts because there's no other way to like they're spelling it out, but it's like Rihanna's SOS or YMCA. Like that doesn't really count as spelling it out because it's just letters. So I don't really feel like that should count. That's why I left YMCA off.
I just left the YMCA off because it's just an annoying song to me,
Oh
and I
yeah, it
don't.
is.
Uh, I mean, I don't want to defend it nor not defend it, but I think they're spelling something out, whether it's a word or not. I mean, it's letters. I think it should count.
My number two is a song I had to listen to like 30 times before I understood what they're spelling, even though it's pretty simple, but it's Independent something something by Webby. I don't know who Webby is, but that song is stuck in my head. Independent.
Yeah,
Do you know what that means? It's a good song. I like it.
have no idea
We're in culture.
what you're going with there.
Okay, what's your number one?
I mean, it's the same as yours.
Yeah.
RESPECT. I got what it means to me. R-B or B me. I don't
I
whatever.
don't know what the other
I'm just
lyrics are, but
embarrassed
respect RESPECT is easily number one.
by the
Easily number one.
by the
Aretha.
legendary Aretha Franklin.
I
Doesn't get
like how
much
you.
better than her.
If you're gonna say legendary, don't then pause and have to think about what the name was. The
She used to call.
legendary.
She used to call our news station and be like, "Hey, Johnny." And we used to have a main anchor there. His name was Huel Perkins. He's since retired. Another fantastic guy. Shout out to you, Huel. You used to listen. Maybe you don't anymore. But she'd call me, "Hey, Johnny, can you get a message to Huel for me?" And she'd just be sitting on her couch in Detroit watching the news.
Oh yeah, what was the message gonna be? Like what did she want?
Oh, I mean, there was an array of things. She usually would call on Mondays or Tuesdays because I think she'd do shows later in the week. And it was always,
Mm,
tell him that his tie last night was too bright, or tell him that he missed this
that's
story,
funny.
or, and yeah. Yeah, she was a huge fan of local Detroit television, and she let us know. We weren't the only station she called. I know that, but she would call pretty much every week, once a week, to talk about something.
She knew your name. You knew Aretha Franklin. You're like,
Yeah, I mean,
hey Aretha, what'd
yeah.
you call her? Did you call her Mrs. Franklin or did you say hey Aretha?
I mean, after a while, I just say, "Hey, Aretha." I
Oh, I
mean,
would have said
yeah.
Mrs. Franklin. You don't
Well,
deserve to call her
I
Aretha.
at first, I guess it's a funny, not really a funny story, but it is true. I didn't believe it was her when she first called, and I was like, "Okay, can you leave me your phone number? Like, I'll get the message to Huel, blah blah blah." And someone else had heard me talking, and they're like, was that really Aretha? And I'm like, it sounded like her, but I doubt it. So then I went to Huel, and I told him, and he was like, "Well, let me check." And he pulled out his phone, and it was her phone number, and that's why I was like, "Holy shit, that was Aretha Franklin that just
That's
called."
funny.
And I
Mrs. Franklin. You should
didn't
call her
believe
Mrs.
she
Franklin.
does. You're right. She absolutely deserves to be Mrs. Franklin. She is,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Huel can call her Aretha. You have to call her
Hush.
Mrs. Franklin.
You
I
know
would call
what?
her Mrs. Franklin.
You are not right on many things, but that you are correct on. Huel can call her whatever he wants. I should call her Mrs. Anyways,
Just an honorable mention.
I really only have one ish, and I'm not even sure what this means, though everyone knows the song, and it's Jay Z's Izzo, HOVEA. That's that song.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
which, once again, I'm probably wrong. I really don't know what it means at all. Um, yeah, and then I also put down here, I did have Hollaback Girl and had SOS, uh, but that was it. And then I wrote down 50 Cent because I think there was a 50 Cent song where he said something like that, but I couldn't remember what it was.
There is a 50 Cent song, PIMP, and then there's a
Ooh,
Method Man song where he spells out MATHOD, man, M-E-T. I don't know what it's called.
ooh.
It might be called Method Man.
Okay,
And then there's something Divorced by Tammy Wynette, but that's a little before our time. Oh, and then Queen Latifah, Unity, Unity.
Queen Latifah. That's okay. That deserves some love, man. She's a legend too. Call her
She's
Miss Latifah.
that's probably best time to stop it then. Okay, let me stop it. That's funny about Aretha Franklin. Like she would just call up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Are we actually not recording?
Hold on, I gotta make sure it's end. Okay.